Let's count down 15 country anthems from 1971 we'll never forget. These weren't just songs, but they were dirt road diaries and jukebox confessions. And the final track, it was outlaw poetry that reshaped the soul of Nashville.
They disturbed the hand and said, son, when you had nothing.
It's an angel, good morning. Love her like the devil when you get back.
How can I say the things I said to you?
Number 15, When You're Hot, You're Hot by Jerry Reed.
More than a decade, Jerry Reed has been the guy other stars and musicians around Nashville have been turned on to. Now the whole country is.
You already know Jerry Reed never just sang. He grinned through his verses. This 1971 smash brought humor and swagger to a courtroom tale that only country music could make a hit. When You're Hot, You're Hot slid up to number 1 on the country charts.
The hand and said, son, when you had nothing.
And even broke into the top 10 on pop radio, proof that Reed's twang and finger-picking charm were hotter than asphalt in July. You didn't just listen to this song, you acted it out in your car. A little cocky, a little sweaty, and a whole lot of fun.
Look out, here they come.
Next up, a velvet-voiced legend with a smile that changed everything. Number 14, Kiss an Angel, Good Morning by Charley Pride.
Kiss an angel, good morning. Love her like the devil when you get back.
If you've ever tried to sum up love in one perfect lyric, you've hummed this one. Kiss an Angel, Good Morning made Charley Pride a crossover icon, giving him his biggest hit and one of country's most enduring hooks. His smooth delivery and wholesome presence flipped racial barriers in a segregated genre, all while racking up 5 weeks at number 1.
An angel, good morning. Love her like the devil when...
It's the kind of tune that smells like fresh coffee and Sunday sunshine. The kind your granddad danced to in boots worn thin by stories. Coming up next, the sound of pure self-worth wrapped in steel guitar. Number 13, I'm Just Me by Charley Pride.
We think you will enjoy our special guest this evening, a gentleman who really knows how to sing country songs, Charley Pride. Let's give him a nice welcome.
Double the dose, because 1971 was that good for Charley Pride. I'm Just Me was less a hit and more a quiet declaration of identity, pride, and resilience. It stood at number 1 for 4 weeks and echoed far beyond the country charts, becoming a soft-spoken anthem for staying true. This wasn't about flash or heartbreak. It was about the power of stillness. If you've ever felt out of place but stood your ground anyway, this one speaks your language and inspired a generation of misfits and dreamers.
I just tried to be exactly what you see.
But next, we'll bring it back to the soft glow of a love song, written like a poem. And I'll write you a poem if you hit the subscribe button right now. Number 12, Easy Lovin' by Freddie Hart.
It's the number 1 song this year. Here's the guy who wrote it and recorded it, Mr. Freddie Hart. Freddie!
It's not just a song, it's a feeling. Easy Lovin' took Freddie Hart from forgotten B-sides to overnight sensation. 10 years into his career, the track pulsed with sensual warmth, sliding up the charts and staying at number 1 for 3 full weeks.
Bless your hearts, all of you. Thank you so much.
It won Song of the Year not once but twice, because no one could resist the way Freddie made love sound effortless. If satin had a sound, it would be this record. Coming next, a woman in full control of heartbreak and every radio that touched it. Number 11, How Can I Unlove You by Lynn Anderson. Lynn Anderson didn't just sing heartbreak, she commanded it. Coming off the success of Rose Garden, she doubled down with a searing 1971 follow-up, How Can I Unlove You reached #1 on the country charts and let the world know Lynn was no one-hit wonder. Her voice cracked like porcelain under pressure, proving that even strength had its breaking points. If you've ever tried to let go but couldn't, this one still lingers in the air like perfume on an old sweater.
How can I say the things I said to you?
But coming up, a barstool confession that turned into a jukebox rebellion. #10, She's All I Got by Johnny Paycheck.
Now, once again, here's my good buddy, Johnny Paycheck.
Before Take This Job and Shove It, Johnny Paycheck gave us this raw, pleading hit, and it hit like a closed fist wrapped in velvet. She's All I Got clawed into the top 5 and marked a pivot for Paycheck from Nashville outsider to voice of the people. This wasn't polished, it was honest.
That's it, friend. Don't take her, she's all I got.
A barroom lament that became an unlikely love song and later inspired George Jones to cut his own version. If you've ever held on too tight because you had nothing else left, this one's yours. Next, a polished crooner's final chart topper and his softest farewell. I Won't Mention It Again by Ray Price.
But I won't mention it again.
Ray Price wasn't just a crooner, he was a bridge between country's past and its sleek new future. In 1971, I Won't Mention It Again gave him his final #1 hit, and it came draped in strings and smooth confidence. It wasn't just heartbreak, it was classy heartbreak, the kind you sip slowly with your last ounce of pride. The song won Album of the Year, showing that country music could evolve without losing its soul. If you've ever smiled through pain and walked away with your head high, Ray was singing for you. Up next, the king and queen of duet heartbreak at the very start of their storm. #8, Lead Me On by Conway Twitty and Loretta Lynn.
That I'd never lead you on.
This was more than a duet, it was chemistry. Lead Me On was the second time Conway Twitty and Loretta Lynn locked voices, and it shot straight to #1. Their harmonies were dangerously tender, wrapped in a storyline that flirted with temptation. You could hear the hesitation in Loretta's phrasing, the hunger in Conway's drawl, and that push-pull dynamic defined their iconic partnership. If you've ever loved someone you weren't supposed to, this one still haunts. Coming next, the spark that lit the duet fire in the first place and burned red hot. #7, After the Fire Is Gone by Conway Twitty and Loretta Lynn.
Speaking of Loretta and speaking of favorite songs, you two have got out a song that's knocking everybody in the country dead. This After the Fire's Gone.
That's right, knocking me out too.
Yeah, I know. Would you like to hear him sing it? Would you? Hey, Loretta, come here.
This was the beginning of country's greatest duet saga. After the Fire's Gone was their first team-up, and it earned them a Grammy. The track didn't just tell a story of fading love and stolen nights. It invited you into the motel room. Conway and Loretta's vocal tension made listeners lean in close, like eavesdropping on secrets not meant for daylight. It's the kind of song that made your mama gasp and hit repeat. But next, a song that left the hollers and lit up every dorm room across America. #6, Take Me Home, Country Roads by John Denver. Even if you never set foot in West Virginia, you felt this song in your chest. John Denver's Take Me Home, Country Roads wasn't just a hit. It became an anthem for anyone who's ever longed for a simpler place or a moment that felt like home. Released in 1971, it cracked the top 3 on the Billboard Hot 100 and carved out Denver's legacy as country folk's gentle prophet. Its blend of nostalgia and wanderlust made it eternal. If you've ever driven just to think, this is the track that played on loop in your soul. Up next, a ballad about loss, legacy, and a man who lived in every southern backyard. Number 5, The Year That Clayton Delaney Died by Tom T. Hall.
Clayton Delaney, I thought about, now this is a strange story, but I thought about this song for 2 years.
Tom T. Hall didn't write songs, he wrote short stories with twang. And The Year That Clayton Delaney Died might be his masterpiece. It hit number 1 in 1971, but more importantly, it hit hearts, a tribute to a childhood hero who lived fast and faded young. The song captures the way legends are born, not on stages, but in backyards, garages, and tales passed over black coffee. If you've ever looked back at the people who shaped you, messy and flawed, Clayton Delaney's still alive in those chords.
I remember the year that Clayton Delaney died.
Next, the teenage voice that knocked down every door, with a flower in her hair and fire in her voice. Number 4, Delta Dawn by Tanya Tucker.
1972 was a very good year for me. I was living in Las Vegas.
She was only 13 when she sang this, but Tanya Tucker delivered Delta Dawn with a voice aged in whiskey and lived in sorrow. The song wasn't originally hers, but in 1971, she made it unforgettable. A Southern Gothic tale about a woman waiting on a long-lost love. It climbed the charts and introduced a new kind of country star, young, fearless, and unmistakably powerful. If you've ever been underestimated and then over-delivered, Tanya's echo is behind you.
Delta Dawn, what's that flower you have on?
Coming up next, a road-weary anthem that was too real for some radio stations. Number 3, Me and Bobby McGee by Kristofferson.
Feeling good was easy, Lord, when Bobby sang the blues.
You already know the Janis Joplin version, but in 1971, Kristofferson's own voice made this song personal. Me and Bobby McGee was more than a hit. It was a dust-coated American epic, waving freedom, regret, and the aching pull of memory into one of the most iconic country rock crossovers ever. Kristofferson's version felt like a letter found under a windshield wiper in the middle of nowhere. It redefined what country could be: literary, lonely, and road-worn. If you've ever lost something you didn't know you needed, Bobby's still out there somewhere. But next, a coal miner's daughter who didn't just break through, she kicked the door wide open. Number 2, Coal Miner's Daughter by Loretta Lynn.
2 years ago, I wrote a song called Coal Miner's Daughter. And I know a little bit about this girl because I just happen to be that coal miner's daughter.
This wasn't just a song, it was a biography. Coal Miner's Daughter told the story of Loretta Lynn's hardscrabble Kentucky roots. And in doing so, it told everyone's story. The song was honest, proud, and resilient, rising to number 1 in 1971 and eventually becoming a best-selling autobiography and an Oscar-winning film. Loretta turned poverty into poetry, and her voice carried the truth like a freight train. If you've ever been told where you come from defines where you're going, Loretta proved them wrong.
I was born to coal miner's daughter.
Up next, a hungover hymn that smelled like Saturday night but preached like Sunday morning. Number 1, Sunday Morning Comin' Down by Johnny Cash.
Hello, I'm Johnny Cash. Here's another of Chris's for the Rambler, the Drifter.
This wasn't a hit, it was a reckoning. Written by Kristofferson but baptized in Johnny Cash's gravel. Sunday Morning Comin' Down defined 1971 with his lonely walk through empty streets and empty bottles. It hit number 1 and cracked open country music's darker truths. Cash didn't just perform it, he confessed it, and America listened. The song was banned in some markets for referencing beer, but it still became an anthem for anyone who's ever looked for meaning in the quiet hours after the chaos.
On a Sunday morning sidewalk.
If you found this deep dive memorable, hit like and subscribe so we can keep the music alive. These weren't just tracks, they were sonic postcards from 1971, mailed from back roads, bars, and broken hearts. Which of these songs hit you the hardest or surprised you the most? Next up, we're diving into 1972. Click the video on screen now to keep this journey going. Some legends fade, others hide in plain sight.